125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is a community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed.
And a child shall lead them.
Yes, dear listener. Yes, dear listener. Hold on. Let me see.
We have returned.
We have returned. Type 22 if you can hear us, dear listener. We've missed you, beautiful people, so freaking much.
And your song selections.
And your song selections. And getting us copyright strikes and shit. We really, really love you guys. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I know it's been a long time. We took like a 6-week.
We did.
6-7 weeks, maybe 2 months. Who cares? Who knows?
Yeah,
but we're here now.
Because I took some time off before having the baby too.
Yeah.
So
Gotta protect health, mental health, all that jazz. But I gotta say, man, we missed you guys a lot, honestly. Brother, sister, Tasco in the house, CB in the house, gang.
Send you a picture of.
I'm rocking the red bandana because I was like, yo, maybe my guy CB will show up today. And he came through.
Oh, look at that. Middle
Earth in the house. Unbelievable. You guys are absolutely amazing. We've been working on a lot of stuff. So, you know.
I'm going to airdrop this to you so we can show the people that haven't seen.
Yes.
And see our little homie.
This right here is a quote. What's good, Randy Williamson? What's up, blood? This quote right here is going to be the screen thingamajiggy.
Yeah, this was their stream photo. I cried when I saw it.
You did?
I did.
Yeah. I know you would, you big baby. The day which we fear as our last is but the birthday of eternity. Seneca the Younger.
Seneca is the name of our new little baby. Put him on the screen.
Our spawn, as they say. Our spawn. Big T in the house. Look at this guy. He is freaking beautiful, subhanAllah. Look at that baby, bro. Unbelievable. He's got the nookie at his foot. Yeah. He's a cute baby.
Seriously, when he was born, this is the weirdest thing. He was like a shapeshifter, man. When he was first born and he came out, he literally, I don't know if it was because I had been in so much pain for so long, but I'm not joking you, his face looked like a shrunken Vin face. It was like, whoop. It was the weirdest thing. Did you think he looked exactly like you, or you didn't notice because... Like, that was the thing that I saw as soon as he came out. I was like, holy shit, he looks like Vin. Did you notice that, or you were just too...
Yeah. I mean, me and the baby, I'm starting to warm up to him. But Soraya's delivery was pretty challenging.
It was the worst one I've ever been through.
So I had some serious issues with the kid. What was this, the Welcome Seneca stream?
Yeah, well, let me just see what exactly he put. Yeah, Welcome Seneca stream. So, yeah, we, after the delivery, I couldn't even walk. It was so bad. Like, I had to drag my leg.
Literally, we had to get her to
walk
an
backwards and drag my leg.
osteopath.
Yeah, it was really bad. But things are going better now. We've returned to the gym.
Yeah, we have
So that's
returned
cool.
to the
Actually,
gym.
we started the gym like literally like a day or two after we got back. We just go to the sauna.
Yeah.
When we'd suffer it out in that bitch for 30 minutes. Although after delivering a child, the 30 minutes in the shower, the 30 minutes that I was in there, you were like, "Is it hard?" I was like, "This is so easy." Remember that? Like the first couple of days, I felt like I was just like it was a breeze.
Yeah, I was trying to get you some, like a break, because it was a very, very bad. I mean, it was a challenging. It was a challenging delivery. It was very hard.
It was excruciating. Okay, but we are not in delivery anymore.
No.
We are now on our first live stream back.
We are here to deliver you some freaking music, dear listener. And I gotta tell you, we've got a pretty crazy lineup here, if I do say so myself.
In Flames starts us out, The Great Deceiver.
The Great Deceiver.
Let's see if we have anything to read. So this is, we know it's not saying it up there because they're doing a shout out to our little peanut. But this stream was brought to you by Revo and Middle Earth.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. I put it up there anyway.
Oh, you did?
Brought to you by Revo and Middle Earth.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Michelle. All right. So actually, he didn't.
Kai in the house, man. We getting spoiled today. We got Kai in the house.
Okay, Revo, I'm seeing this right. There's nothing to say here. It's just the lyrics, right?
Yeah. Definitely what CB is saying. Thank you guys for the support. I will tell you guys some of the difficulty in handling the
Big T.
How difficult the situation was, and then a little bit of, guys get postpartum too, which is something I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So part of the struggle actually was like not being able to hang out with you guys, discuss music, because the music we listen to is very emotional, and so I it would have been, so it was just tough. It was tough sledding, guys. I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
Yeah.
And I'm actually really, really, really happy to be back, man. To be back, to see Kai, Big T, Bariatric, Revo, Nicole Kent in the house, Kamikaze in the house.
Vibes.
Jonathan Simon, Independent Music, I
Grimsley,
think.
thanks for the super chat.
And Grimsley in the house. Been watching for what seems like years. Hope all was well. You guys are always fantastic. Gang. That's cool. Whoa, Michelle's about to do a book.
Nice.
Poor kid came out already grounded. Facts, bro. Facts. I wanted to ground that little bastard for all the pain. But
Thank you, Nicole.
I'm ranting a little bit. We're gonna get to the music, I promise. But I had to get this off the chest. Every time I see a baby bump or whatever, like my respect.
Thanks, Applejack.
Guys like communicate a lot in with respect. Women sometimes are lovey-dovey. I know it's a generalization, but just stay with me. The circles I was in, it's very hard to gain respect because people are so extreme. You got dudes that like went literally 3 days without a drop of water, like really extreme shit. So those circles, it's very hard to like respect somebody. You come home and somebody stubs their toe and shit. But the things that I saw this woman go through, like, it was difficult, man, because I really couldn't do anything for her. You know what I'm saying?
That's what he says. But literally, I feel like if I didn't have him, like at one point, I told him I just want to die. Like it was so bad, the pain was just so over the friggin' top, and honestly, the hospital that we were at, everything was fucking broken. So I wanted to do a water birth. And that was like kind of the plan the entire time because I knew that my back labor was going to be intense. They came in and they were like, yo, we're not going to be able to put you in the tub because every time we turn the water on, it comes out brown.
No bullshit.
I'm like, what? Like, they didn't know about that so that was pretty annoying. So then I couldn't be in there. And the shower was literally the tiniest shower that I had ever seen. So I said, well, I'll go into the shower and he could hose the hot water on my back to help with the back labor. So we tried that, but their equipment was slipping. Nothing was staying. They had to keep coming in. You were getting completely drenched because the thing was just so like a friggin'... It was a disaster. But anyway, like without Vin there, I literally don't know how women survive it without a supportive person with them. Like I just, like, I leaned on you so much. You don't know how much, because to you it feels like you're doing nothing because I'm going through all the pain. But seriously, like, without you, I do not know how. What, I guess during COVID, they weren't letting people go in, so you had to labor by yourself. And they said the stress level and what it did to the mothers and even the babies, because the baby gets the stress too, they said was really pretty deleterious. So, yeah, no, I leaned on you, literally, physically leaned on you, and you would help me and all that, plus emotionally. And then there was one part where I felt like I was just going to break in all ways possible. My body, my soul, my mind, everything. Like, it was so bad. And then you started praying in my ear, which now I found out after you were praying because you needed to pray. But it was very helpful for me as well.
Well, yeah, it was really for both of us. You know, the doctor kind of saw me because Sori took a bathroom break, and the midwife kind of turned to me and said, "You got to get your shit together, bro. Otherwise, you're useless to us." And, you know, that's my language. You know, if you guys know me, you guys know that's my language. And it helped me. It helped me. You know, it helped me, like, holy shit, Cassia's here? Yeah. Hey! That was actually pretty helpful, you know, and it made me kind of, like, suck it the fuck up and you know, and I had to kind of get straight with God and all that and kind of help out. But the respect level that, you know, I have for her, like, just it made me see a lot of things. Like, I love the kids a lot. Everybody knows I love my kids, and everybody knows I love kids in general, but it's you, man, for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, when the baby was born, like, I've got this picture because one of the nurses or whatever was taking the picture. Like,
oh my word, it's literally. Can we put it up?
Yeah, I'll try to find it. But
I have it.
Yeah,
it's a wicked good picture.
But it's like right at the moment of, because I took him out and, you know, put him on Sori, but my hands were, like, literally covered in blood. Like, I still actually have the video. I haven't looked at it, but there was so much blood. Like, he was crazy. It was very, very challenging. But, like, I'm just looking at Sori. Like, not my main concern. Like, literally that moment, my only concern was her. Like, obviously I love all my kids, but that really showed me, like, how much I respect her, but also, like, yeah, she's, like, number one for me, and it's not even close, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's not even close. So, anyway, I learned a lot of things. It's the.
It was the wrong one.
Yeah, it's the same one.
Oh, here.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need to see. It's all good.
No, it's a really good picture. Whoops.
So, yeah. I don't know if I've mentioned this. Oh shit, Riv, damn. They just found out they had a half brother separated, like, by a decade.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
It says it's waiting for you.
His head didn't come out like an alien. He came out pretty symmetrical.
Yeah, he did.
He came out really,
but he
really
came out, like, sideways in this, like, basically the biggest part of his head.
Yeah, he did a twisty thing, like, yeah. He just, yeah. And honestly, like, he wasn't ready to come. Like, if we had to do it over again, like, I'd have made different decisions. But I am starting to warm up to him. I think I'm starting to get the postpartum. Like, I always feel terrible even talking about postpartum, you know, considering what you went through. But, like, literally, like, 3 minutes, they weren't even done stitching you up. You were holding Seneca and you were talking about another baby. like 10 minutes earlier. He was born like 12:30 on the dot. This is like
the weirdest. I have never been like this. After delivery, I'm usually like, F that. I'm not doing that for a while. But this is the first time where I'm like, I just want to be pregnant again. And I don't know if it's because I really want to have a girl.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not sure. I really don't know. But I really want
to have a girl. So that's me, like, right after dude is born. And like I said, like, if you can see my line of,
you got to put the whole.
Yeah, if you could see my line of sight, like, the baby's there, and I'm just like.
Yeah, looking directly at me.
I'm just, like, looking directly at Sori because, like, Yeah. Anyway, all right. But for real talk, like, men do get postpartum as well. And you know, I talked about it a little bit with you, which is weird. Like, it seemed to kind of help.
Yeah,
you,
it was super helpful because you feel like you're on this island all by yourself, like in this darkness, in this dark hole, and everything is changing and everything feels just horrible. I don't know. It's just a really, and you're like, you've had the baby, but now you don't have the baby anymore. Like, you've birthed the child, but like your womb feels lonely, but at the same time you're like, finally I'm alone. It's just this like weird complicated mesh of everything. And so I just felt like I was very like alone. And then when you started talking about you having a hard time too, like it opened up like a line of communication between the two of us and something else that I could hold on to. Like, okay,
it was good for us.
Yeah, we're both having a hard time here. And also like it would help stabilize me because it made me feel like if you're the person that's completely injured and everybody has to take care of you, like you're the patient all the time. So it felt like, okay, I wasn't just a patient because you were the patient some of the time, so I could help you, and it was just good.
No, that is true. You know, it kind of like really makes you. It's a team effort, guys, man. It really is, you know, and you guys know we take controversial stands and things like that, but that experience, man, it really, like, it's weird. Like, I respected you so much for going through the situation, but at the same time, like, the feelings I had for you, I don't know what the word is, but it was like completely separate from the baby. Like, it was very, very hard to explain, like,
because the delivery was so bad. What do you mean?
Yeah, I really, I don't have the words for it right now. I'll probably write some shit on guitar or whatever, and, you know, try to get it out. But, yeah. So shout out to women everywhere, man. That what you guys do is
insane,
fucking incredible. And we all know that a woman's worth and value is not rooted in the fact that she can pull that shit off.
Right.
It's just rooted in the fact that whatever you are, you're an image bearer of God, crowned with glory and honor. So you don't need to do anything to earn anybody's respect. What I'm saying, as a human being, sometimes we miss out on the incredible nature of what a human being is. And so sometimes they just pull some shit off where God says, you're in the presence of something really fucking incredible. And yeah, so it's kind of like a moment like that when I'm like, damn, bro, like. And it was crazy because it was all women in the room. And, you know, some of them were annoying or whatever, but there was just a lot of strength. There was that like feminine power, bro, like that shit is so different. And especially in a childbirth situation, because, you know, back in the day, it was just women. They'd kick the guys out, all types of. By the way, shout out to my man BM Fan. He just had a baby too. I'd put the picture up there, but I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, man.
All that feminine energy all together.
Yeah. There was just so much like feminine energy and power in that fucking room, bro. And
it was more too because we hit it off with our doctor.
Yeah.
Our midwife. So like she was like really, really there.
Yeah,
like,
she's our people. Shout out to Slum. Gang.
So yeah, that really made a difference also. And I think that's where you got like the strength of that energy from, was because there was a connection between us. You know?
Yeah. And yeah, those ladies, man, they carried us home, bro. Like, they really, you know, I always joke about it. It was like the room was full of women and the only two guys in the room were crying. Everybody else was straight. It was me and Seneca were crying like babies, but, well, he wasn't crying like a baby. He is an excuse. A baby. But, yeah. It's just like, shout out to women everywhere, man. Like, that shit is like.
But he was so ridiculously supportive, and it's crazy because we were talking to some of the people there. Apparently, some people will bring in, like the men will bring in an Xbox and play on the Xbox instead of laboring with their wife, if they're even there. Like, lots of them don't even show up for it, which I think is just insane and crazy. And so
yeah, I don't even want to use the term laboring with your wife, bro. Like, you were doing like. I don't know, man.
Yeah, but you don't know what it's like to be me. Like, if I didn't have you there, I seriously.
Yeah, I supported you, like, but you were laboring, man. Like it's just incredible.
Yeah, but watching somebody suffer has a labor of its own, like, because you can't do anything, and it's not like as a woman, and if I see you in pain, I'd be like, oh, I'd like to help him with that, but I don't feel the same way as a man would feel toward a woman, because you're like a protector, you know. So but you should have seen the nurses after. They're all like, woo, they had hearts in their eyes looking at Vinny here, because he was like so supportive. That picture that he showed, like the way that he was like, are you good, he kept saying, are you good, which I was like, I was good, because for me it's painful and it's horrible, but the I think the worst part is how scared I get of how it's gonna be. And then when I was in the middle of it, it was like, and this is why I was scared. But it was, having him there was, you know, and I don't know, the way that you check up on me, you just did really, really good. So yeah, like those nurses see, you know, tons and tons of deliveries, and they could see that it was something super special, the way that Vinny was and how supportive he was. And you know, they see women labor all the time, but they don't see, you know, husbands that support and stay there and really, you know.
Namaste. I appreciate it. Negative vibes. I'd be checking political discourse on Twitter while labor is happening, probably. Good thing I got a vasectomy. Speaking of vasectomy, we are going to song number 1. I am so sorry, Revo. So sorry, Middle Earth. I just had to get that off my chest. Now, my man Perkinos is here. Okay, perfect.
It is a day.
Now we are going to listen to some metal. Are you ready?
In Flames, the Great Deceiver.
The Great Deceiver, and we're not even going to go with the commercial this time. Great Deceiver, timestamp 2506.
Yes, Jay, this is a live stream.
For your references. What? You've got to be kidding me. Stand by, dear listener.
Right on cue, man.
I hate this shit because I'm like, yo, only emergencies, bro.
Right. All right.
Hey, you good? Okay.
Revo, I'm checking my email to see if there was anything there, like, because I didn't see anything added that you wanted me to say.
She's coming tomorrow.
Oh, she thought she was coming tonight.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be coming over tonight, but I'll, you know, but don't worry about it.
So weird. Okay.
I got you. Okay. All right. Peace. You didn't tell her they were coming over early?
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah, we never officialized it. That's right. Oh, they just showed up?
All right! Yeah, she's got work at 7 o'clock tomorrow. She's like, what the fuck? She ain't getting no sleep tonight. Okay! All right, guys, here we go. In Flames, timestamp 2653.
Okay, wait. So, you want me to update that on the... Where are you telling me that for? Are you telling me it so I can do it here?
Well, just for tracking for breaking up purposes.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore.
Oh.
28, what? It's easier to just... You find it by the audio dips.
Okay. All right.
But people seem to like it, so I guess I'll put... Okay, so what was it? 28 what?
Oh, my gosh. It is now 2720.
2720.
All right. Ready? Great Deceiver in Flames. Let's go! And it's got the lyrics.
Whoa. We're going heavy tonight.
Joey in a band Europe. Remember that song? It's a final countdown.
No.
We did a review of that, and I was talking about how like the Chicago
We've done
Bulls.
like 1,000 songs.
We've done 2,000 songs.
2,000
I was talking in that review about the Chicago Bulls and how they used to come out to that song. And how it was like such a.
I remember that.
Such a like massive memory for me. And then everybody was like, "Nah, bro, they never came out to that song." What the fuck are you talking about? They never came out to that song. They came out to a different song. It wasn't the
Did
final countdown.
it sound similar?
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay, and that doesn't
Just
bother
a
you when you
complete
say
false
stuff
memory.
like that. A complete false memory.
No, I don't care. Because in the end, I'm just like, well, fuck, Mandela effect. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, but I don't think it's the Mandela effect. Because in the Mandela effect, like, everybody's like, oh, yeah, I did say you said, Luke, I'm your father. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, okay. So that was In Flames.
So did they take, okay, is that what, when it said a 2-year break to reset our brains, did they take a break from their band?
Where do you see that? 2-year break?
Back to reality once again, a 2-year break to reset our brains.
I think that's probably talking about like COVID. I think he's saying we as in society as a whole, because this to me, it sounds like he's doing social commentary. It doesn't sound personal.
Yeah, see, I thought he was talking about like...
Times are changing for the worse. We're doomed. We're cursed.
Yeah.
Bend the truth to fit your opinion. Another excuse, another lie. It's not what you say, it's what you do. The sky's on fire and angels cry.
Yeah, I thought this is talking about like...
The lines are
global
drawn.
warming type
The
stuff.
rules are set. Your actions, the world won't forget. The world. You know what I'm saying? So this looks to me like a global thing. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Well, yeah, I thought it was a global thing, but I didn't think it had anything to do with COVID. I just thought it was, you know, when we're talking about end of the world stuff.
Well, it looks like from
Global warming type of,
'Cause-
you know, sky is on fire. What does that have to do with COVID?
well, specifically the 2-year break. He says we took a 2-year break to reset our brains. That could be personal, but I mean, you figure COVID hit in like 2020.
Oh, all of us. Oh.
See what I'm saying? COVID hit in
Yeah.
2020. So I think in the first verse, he's at least talking about that, because one of the byproducts of COVID was everybody was forced inside. Mm-hmm. You know, these guys they're a Swedish band.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if it was Sweden or Switzerland. There was one of these European countries that didn't go, that went the opposite direction with COVID. Like they kept everybody outside, basically.
Yeah. Well, didn't
I don't know
they
who.
call it herd immunity and stuff like that?
Yeah. And apparently it turns out they were right. We had people on this channel be like, yo, have you seen what's going on in Sweden or whatever? I think it was actually Middle Earth that was like, yo, like these guys are doing pretty good. But so I think the first verse was kind of like, it did kind of function kind of as a little bit of a timeout because people couldn't work and things like that. So like it did give us time for introspection. But I think when we emerged out of, you know, the catacombs of COVID, it's not like collectively we've had some sort of like enlightenment moment where usually like you hear about dudes like, oh, I went to prison and I read and, you know, jail became Yale. I was just watching an interview. The guy said, you know, turn jail into Yale or whatever. And like he came out like, you know, a lot of guys, they'll come out like Muslim or they'll come out Christian.
Right.
They'll come out like with some enlightenment.
Yeah.
And so like it looks to me like, okay, we had this 2-year thing to reset our brains. It was Sweden. Okay, it was called it's Sweden. Yeah. COVID actually started in 2019. That's why it's called COVID-19. Gang. I agree. But yeah, so we did not come out like a more enlightened people. We actually came out more divided, more toxic than we were before COVID. Yeah. And so, you know, and there's a lot of anger around that whole situation with a lot of people, obviously. There was a lot of anger. You know, I had a trip and it got canceled because of COVID and all this, and And so there were just so many things. And then you had people talking about like, yo, if you didn't get vaccinated and you get sick, we're not going to help you in the hospital. We're going to let you die. All types of crazy shit. Like people were, and then an article just came out like a month ago, and it was like, we should have amnesty. Basically, all the people that were like talking about people who weren't vaxxed and saying they should die and all this other shit. And they're like, we need, basically, oops, we were wrong. Our bad. Like,
no,
forgive us.
I think that you could say, yeah, we were wrong and forgive us for our incorrect information, but you can't excuse the all-out hatred that some people had when they were saying the things that they were saying about other people.
Yeah.
Saying that somebody should die.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Applejack called it. They're asking for amnesty. Yeah. Like, but I saw Sagar from Breaking Points.
Yeah.
And he said, hell no, we're not going to give you amnesty. Which is if you know Sagar's kind of like to me, he's the nicest political commentator. Like, Brianna Joy Gray to me is the most erudite, like, articulate. But Sagar is like the most nice, genuine guy. And he for him to say, hell no, we're not going to give you amnesty. Then he played a clip of this dude, like, in an airport. He was unmasked or something, and the cops just swarmed, white dude, and the cops just swarmed on dude, body slammed him on his head, all types of shit.
That's what I mean.
And then somebody posted a video of like a 2-year-old getting like jammed up because he didn't have a mask, and the kid's like 2, he didn't know what the fuck is going on.
Awful.
So he's terrified. You're putting this shit on his face. He didn't know what the fuck is happening. You know what I'm saying?
What is
and
wrong with
these
people?
adults like were jamming up this toddler. You know what I'm saying? And like that. So he's like, hell no, we're not gonna give you amnesty. Yo, I feel that, bro. Like, I feel that. Somebody did that to my child.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, let's not give them amnesty. So what are we going to do? We're going to fuck them up? We're going to not help them in the hospital? What do you mean by we're not going to give you amnesty? Like, this is where, like, the whole turn the other cheek thing, I think, is helpful. Go ahead.
I thought when they were asking for amnesty, I thought they were saying, like, collectively as a whole, we need you guys to, like, basically pardon us and pretend we didn't act like this.
Right.
And I'm saying, no, I don't think that we should do that. I think that you should be held accountable for that level of hatred or that rough way that you treated a toddler. Like, we're not going to pretend that didn't happen. We can understand the fact that you got, but you didn't have to be so unkind when you were dealing with it.
Yeah, and like me, obviously, we believe we're connected spiritually to God, and so I went off on one of my friends who's actually in here, and the Lord was like, yo, you wrong for that shit, bro. Like, you got to apologize to that man. Yeah. And it wasn't even like you're wrong in the sense that you're technically wrong and he's technically right. It was, you're morally wrong.
Right.
And it doesn't matter who's wrong or right.
Right.
You crossed the line. And I had personal family issues, and COVID stopped me from being able to whatever. But that had nothing to do with him. Mm-hmm. But that's what was happening. Like, there was this confluence of like the economy, a bunch of kids who had friends and their social circles were all, outside of their home. Like, our family's different. Like, we've got an entire ecosystem, like, where the kids are like, they prefer each other over people on the outside. You know what I'm saying? We're probably a little bit, but like, we were not able emotionally to slice. Okay, COVID is the problem here, but at the same time, people have to understand that, it's a whole Stanford prison experiment where you have power over people. And so, like, there were weird situations, like in Walmart, for example, they had these like weird masks or whatever. And I said, everybody knew me at the time. I was a good soldier. I was telling people to get vaccinated, all types of shit. I was a good soldier. But like, I had kind of hit my breaking point. And this person at Walmart was like, you gotta wear your mask, blah blah blah, and I was just like,
she said, show it to, because she said, where are your masks? And then
show me your mask or whatever.
I said, well we have them because we had them in our hands. It was just, we were just coming in and blah blah blah.
Just not gonna do it.
She said, show it to me. She was telling, I already had mine out, so she was telling him, she was demanding that he show her. It was very weird. It was like, especially because like literally I've seen this woman working at Walmart, stocking the vegetables for years, and now all of a sudden she's acting like she's like a cop. like telling people what to do, like
Yeah,
that,
like she had this
that she had some
authority.
authority over you,
Like
demanding that you show it to her. I
I'm a
was
grown
like,
man.
what?
Like you, like
That was it.
Yeah, that's
That
what
was
I'm
a
saying.
real turning point for you.
Yeah, because I was like, yo, like, but there was that element too of like, I have power over you, and then we had like the unvaxxed, so we started like othering each other. So like, all these toxic social spaces and shit where everybody agrees with you and blah 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 blah, and like, I don't think, like random person is saying disagree, the people pretending to fight it were the enemy, because another guy was saying COVID was the enemy, it wasn't the other people. And I don't think either one of those statements are, I think both of those statements are oversimplistic. I do believe that, like, for example, the medical professionals, this is one of the things that gets me about the whole COVID situation. We got a copyright warning. We got a warning from YouTube because we were talking about COVID, whatever.
Medical misinformation.
Like here's one of the things that, like, there's a lot of people now, like spiking the football, like nobody who didn't take the vax regrets it. And I'm like, yeah, let's ignore all the people that died.
Yeah, I know.
People legitimately died.
Yeah, young
Like,
people, heart attacks.
You
blah,
had
blah, blah.
you had big name people that died, like people connected to Trump, all the rest of it. I forgot the guy's name, black dude. He was like, people are tired of this. We're going to go to this event. It was a super spreader event, no matter. Herman Cain. And then bro died like a week later. And Trump just like, it was Trump. But like, that was like a significant, there were a lot of stories like that. So now we're looking back, like everybody wants like an oversimplistic, like people who are overweight, people who had pre-existing conditions, people had diabetes,
people that were older.
The Great Barrington Declaration, it's called, like, where basically these doctors all over the world said we should have quarantined the elderly, diabetics, and morbidly obese people. We should have opened Walmart like 2 hours early for them, or done a delivery service to them. Yeah. But everybody else that was younger and able-bodied should have been relied on herd immunity or whatever. We didn't need. You're not going to vaccinate your way out of this problem, and that turned out to be. But again, that's a very nuanced, very professional. I remember, like, after,
and it doesn't take into account some of the shady stuff that was happening that you were hearing about. Okay, in the nursing home, they were putting people over there to give them COVID.
Yeah,
like, I don't know. Is it documented? I don't have the research. I just, we know people personally on the channel that said, that had happened to their family member, and I also had heard it in other places. But I don't know. I can't source that. So. Yeah,
but like, people with comorbidities or people that are on the danger scale, like, people actually died over that shit. Mm-hmm. But like, after I had my meltdown, somebody like really, like, in a crisis, like, I don't even know if they were Christians or not, but they came to me and said, yeah, bro, I get you, blah, 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 but hey, check this out. And it was Bill Gates's there's a guy that Bill Gates hired, like, directly. And I know there's a bunch of conspiracy theories about that, but he was the first medical professional I heard that was like, yo, we're not going to vaccinate our way out of this. And number two, he's like, I don't really think we should do this for everybody. And he started talking about how, basically.
Yes. I remember that.
And that's when that made me stop, because it was like a 3-hour type thing. And, like, I don't want like a 5-minute explanation. Like, and that was kind of when I started going, okay. But like, there was so much noise and so much. The CDC is saying this, New York Times is saying this, blah, blah, blah.
Fauci's saying that.
Fauci's saying that. And then you had the social media. That was the problem. Like, there was so much control happening. Like, that's the thing about, like, human nature.
And so much was fueled by fear. Because you had fear on both sides.
Right. And then every single time there's a tragedy or a national emergency, the government finds a way to take more autonomy and freedom from people. Yeah. That's not an American thing. That's a human nature thing. Mm-hmm. And there was definitely a power dynamic, a very much us against them dynamic. And you had people wishing death on people, bro. Like, it was it wasn't like a 2-year timeout where we were able to, like, recalibrate and think about life. And it's like, you would figure with all this death happening that you'd be like, okay, let's think about ultimate issues. Let's think about ways. But it just exploded into a really toxic, I think, Delaney said it. I don't think anybody's ever going to cooperate with a lockdown again.
To that,
and
yeah.
you know what? In the
Yeah.
next, 30 to 70 years, maybe there will be a real, like, Ebola-like situation. But that's what happens when you cry wolf, bro. Like, everybody at the beginning, people were like, what the fuck is going on? And everybody went along with everything the government said
Yeah.
to do and all the
Yeah.
recommendations and everything. But when there was some sort of tipping point to where people started getting drunk on power. And then you had politicians that were forcing people not to work, staying in their homes, but then they're outside.
Yep.
It was just too much.
Right.
It was
She
way
went to
too
that
much for
hairdresser.
people.
Somebody went to that hairdresser.
Yeah, like it was just way too much for people. So the sky's on fire and the angels cry. Bend the truth to fit your opinion. Another excuse, another lie.
I think the other thing too is that people got traumatized throughout the process. Like you have children that had older parents and their parents were in nursing homes and you could not go to see them. Parents that had Alzheimer's that you couldn't tell them what was going on because they would forget it. And so to see your family member on the other side of the glass crying because they don't understand why you won't come in and visit them and they're heartbroken, to see that is hard. And to
Graduations,
see like graduation
proms,
but they separated mothers from their infants early on. Now they don't do that. Even if you get COVID, they'll keep your room secluded, but they don't separate the mom from the baby. Like separating a mother after delivery is a really, that you're creating damage in people that is irreversible. So I think that collectively, like what happened to the teenagers that were used to going to school every single day, I don't necessarily think that public school is the healthiest place for teenagers, but I do think that they have social circles there and they have friends there, and those friends are a support system to them, as are some of their teachers. And then you took them out of that environment and stuck them at home and forced them to have to kind of learn remotely. And I think that just everybody as a whole like suffered some sort of damage, and I think that it's irreversible at this point.
Yeah, and Delaney talked about this, and Cassie didn't get to go to a graduation. Like these are, I understand. Like
she's graduating college.
Well, she's a teacher, so I'm assuming it's her kids.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not her kids, but
Yeah,
they're
I mean,
kind of her kids.
you wait all that time for your graduation,
And you fought with them kids, and kids,
Yeah.
it's hard.
Oh,
This
sorry.
shit ain't. I don't even talk about teachers and the shit they're going through, but yeah. So you have these cultural moments that we don't have a rite of passage in the Western world anymore.
Right.
So you have all these very important cultural moments that mark, okay, you're an adult or you're transitioning to be the next thing or whatever. And that was taken from people with no warning, and there was no recourse, and everybody's just supposed to go along like everything is normal. And now people are saying like, yo, the way y'all hype the shit up, I'm trying to be as careful as possible, but you guys know me, I really don't care. The way y'all hype the shit up, when we looked at the reality didn't match what y'all were saying. It just didn't.
Yeah.
But you took that, and this is just a lesson. Anytime the government takes power, they're not going to give it back willingly.
Yep.
And so it's just, it really functioned to divide people. And I think we're in a much more dangerous situation than before COVID, because now everybody, including me, is like, yo, the next time they try to announce a lockdown, like, shit's gonna get ugly. I don't even think it's gonna get ugly, because I just think people are gonna be like, no.
Yeah.
And you're gonna arrest an entire city of people? Like, people are just not gonna go along with this shit, bro. You got people in China protesting right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, those
they
people
were really crazy. Like, you remember those videos
when they were
that we
screaming,
saw?
yeah.
No, they were like going into people's houses and dragging them out and forcing them into
but yeah,
these...
but there were videos of like people literally screaming in China. It was haunting.
What do you mean? What were they
The
screaming?
entire city was on lockdown. They wouldn't even let them go out of their apartments, and people were just screaming because they were basically in forced confinement. It was horrific. It was like 2 years ago. And then recently there was a fire that happened in one of these apartments. People were like, yo, let us out. And they had a zero tolerance COVID policy. So those people died in that fire. So China...
Are you kidding me?
China's pretty totalitarian, and people are hitting the streets like, fuck that. If we're gonna die, fucking shoot us in the street on TV, bro. Like, we're not gonna sit here and burn to death like you did with those people.
Really?
So,
My
like,
God.
If the shit is spinning out of control, even for China, like, forget it, man. Like, you not... all the Second Amendment people are like, what do you think would happen with those Chinese if they were armed?
Right. Yeah.
And so that creates another, and then and that happened in America, where in Michigan, dudes rolled up with AR-15s to the state house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, that's the thing, man. Like, particularly with America, like, the shit is ugly. I don't think the American government's gonna do it again, because it's just too much, man. It's just too much. So,
Oh my God! They welded people's doors shut?
I don't know if they welded people's doors. They welded the doors shut, according to Jared. I don't know. I can't confirm or deny, but
Delaney
them folks
said the same thing.
Them folks died. Yeah, I saw a guy jumping from his apartment building because they welded their... Yeah. And, you know, that just pushed people to the point. They're like, okay, so what are you going to do? Are you going to kill us? Like, you just killed a bunch of people in this apartment. We ain't going out like that. That's human nature, man. We were not born... We were not born to be dominated by anybody. So... Yeah. So,
Wow, that has a totally different feel. Like, you're told to stay inside your house, or they weld your door shut. That has a different feel. How are they getting food?
I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. Dwayne Chamberlain in the house. Yeah. So, like, the song is like, your actions, we will remember your actions forever. I don't know, like, who...
Your actions the world won't forget.
Yeah, I don't know who he's talking about. I don't know, like, what his position is. It could be about Trump himself. You know what I'm saying? He could be, you know, we just focused on that first paragraph, but it could be about, you know, because that's a singular, the great deceiver. So there's one person who in his mind is problematic, and I don't know if he's referring to Trump or maybe somebody in Europe that we're not familiar with, but...
I mean, you could also... you know, make it a double or kind of stretch it out a little bit further. Your actions, the world won't forget, because we're talking about, like, the world, the sky, the angels, and so your actions could be all of our actions, the world won't forget. I know we're gonna run, there's no escape. Like, whatever you do, like, that's your reaction to it.
Yeah. And do you guys understand why masks are a crucial part of the fight? Look, like I said, you know, we got vaccinated. So,
Twice.
I'm not
Wait, did we go for the second shot? I thought
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
But, you know, relative to the masks, I think those I9 or M1 masks or whatever, they're effective, but the regular hospital and the cloth shit, it's just demonstrably proven not to be as effective, and neither was the vaccine. And to me, I have more of a, we've never seen this before. You got medical professionals. People are dropping like flies. People here in our city, because our ministry, we're working with low income people. People started dropping, like, dying in their sleep before the whole COVID thing got announced. There were these weird situations downtown.
It was
with
terrible.
obviously,
that's
underserved
true. Before we knew
medical.
What was going on, we were like, yo, that person died. Yo, that person died.
Yeah,
Yo,
I'd
that
be at the
person- Why is
barber shop and it was
everybody
like, yo, R.I.P. And I was like, well, this nigga's like 32 years old.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So, like, I get so for me, when I think about the medical side, I'm talking about the boots on the ground. There's a difference between a guy like Fauci and a nurse practitioner or whatever at your local hospital who, because at the beginning, like, they were overcrowded. People were dying left and right, and it was quick. People were going quick because you thought you had a common cold. So then you thought you had the flu, and then by the time you showed up, man, your lungs were at like 28% capacity. So like that's what I'm saying. Everybody wants to look back and simplify. Oh, everything was government lies, or oh no, all of it was real. Well, no, the truth is a little bit more nuanced than that. You had people you had the healthcare workers on the ground who were doing double, triple shifts, crazy shit, seeing people die, all types of craziness.
Yeah, how quick we've forgotten.
Those people, like, that's another whole mental. I think in the next 5 to 10 years, like, we're gonna have a serious issue with healthcare because those people are traumatized.
Yep.
And
they gotta keep going.
All the diabetics and the morbidly obese people, and the old people, like, dropping like flies. There's nothing they could do to help. Meanwhile, people outside of their profession saying all types of crazy shit. and then the government's doing this, and then Fauci's lying. I mean, there are just so many moving parts to this thing, and I think frontline healthcare workers have, to your point, it's like, let's just go on. Like, yep, like
they suffered through all of that, and
like
a lot of us got vacations, because we had the state checks or this or that or whatever. Like a lot of people were, we were just listening to that one lady. She said that she was able to, Sager and what's her face were talking about it, that girl took time off because she had the check so she could go to her daughter's games and her cheerleading things and stuff like that. Like people were able to do that, but if you were a medical professional, you can't. And so they had to work, through that overtime, double time, blah, blah, blah. And at the end of it, what did they get? More work. It's not like you can put the whole hospital on a vacation. They should have all been given extra vacation time, to be honest with you.
They need counseling. They're fucked up.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Like, but
also some vacation.
It's because there's normal death at the hospital, like cycle of life issues. Like, oh, this guy's 88 years old. Mm-hmm. And he's made peace with it. And he's like, do not resuscitate. And the family comes in and all that. Like, that's tough, but they're built for that. They're okay. Mm-hmm. But this whole thing where somebody's like 38 and the fucking daughter can't come and see him and say goodbye, and they're dying by themselves in fear. Mm-hmm. They were not built for that. They were not trained to do that. That shit that happens on the battlefield. Yeah, and true. Like, I'm sure a lot of times the nurses and stuff would be glad when family members would show up because they would take care of them. They would comfort the person that was dying. But if they can't get in there and you're the only source of comfort, it's like, what do you? Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, it's true. I didn't even think of that. So they're like, you want to talk about like, oh, well, dudes come back from Iraq or even like, I got people in here I love that lost family. Like, that shit is traumatic. Like, what do you think is happening with these medical professionals that had to deal with this shit for 2 years straight? Like, they are fucked up. You remember at the hospital? Which thing? When we had the baby, the next day, remember that woman had the C-section and she came up to visit us and she was completely frazzled? Yeah. And they were talking about like everything was backed up because of COVID, because they're like, yo, COVID is still happening. People are still dropping. People are still like, it's just a mess, man. It's a mess. And this is what happens when the government lies, because I do believe the government can have a positive role in these situations, but because they were so non-transparent with us, and because, to Cassia's point, they use this as an excuse to control us, now they can't speak any sort of nuanced life into the situation. I just saw Bill Clinton was like, oh, I got COVID, but I'm so happy I got boosted, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like this repeated thing where they're trying to influence us. And everybody, like, if you look at his comments, everybody's like, man, fuck that. Like, so now the government is in this place where it's like, when you're a kid and you realize that your parents been lying to you the entire time, you're like, yo, man, I'm not. So, I've heard a lot of people say it, like all this authoritative source stuff, like, yo, we out. Because all those people you said were crazy conspiracy people, I'm sorry. But they weren't crazy. Yeah. Yep. They weren't. But neither were the doctors. Neither were the frontline workers. And that's the problem. Like, people are trying to make us choose. Like, no, the crazy tinfoil hat people were right. And the medical professionals that were saying, they were right too. Yep. The government purposely lied. They purposely withheld important evidence that would influence, how people acted. They used it to impose power, and the government divided us. And I'm not talking about Trump, because Trump was telling everybody to get vaccinated. This is the funny thing. Actually, this was one of the times when I was like, yo, I think I misunderstood Trump supporters, because I'm like, they flipped on him. Yeah, they flipped on him every time he brought up the vaccine. People were like, boo, like they and he had to. They made him stop, and I'm like, yo, this stereotype of like the average Trump supporter, like this mindless zombie who worships Trump and does anything he says. Nah, they drew a line. They said, fuck that, bro. We're not going there with you. They booed him. He tried to do it multiple times. They shut him down. So I'm like, that made me go, okay, Trump followers are we got to give them a little bit more credit. It's easy to make fun of them or whatever, but I saw a group of people that were like, nah, bro, I'm not going with you. Okay, you got to respect that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to respect that. But yeah, it's a great song. I don't know if he's specifically talking about this. Obviously, all music is subjective. I'm just interpreting it, great song, great first song to come back to. 9.2 for me. Johnny Melancholy.
8.8 for me.
We are coming right back to you guys very, very soon. That was song number 1. We got many more songs coming for you tonight. Vin out.
Sori out.
Go. All right, guys. Going right to commercials. Song 2 is on the way.